When I bought the house, I thought I was finally done running. Done with landlords, done with city noise, done with neighbors who treated every blade of grass like a personal insult. The property sat just beyond the boundary of a massive gated HOA community called Silver Pines Estates. My land wasn't part of it, never had been. The deed was clean. The survey lines were crystal clear. And the county map showed my property as its own parcel long before the HOA ever existed. I checked everything twice. Then I moved in quietly, believing peace would finally follow me. The first week was silent. I worked on restoring the old farmhouse, fixing the porch, repainting the barn, and grading the gravel driveway that connected to the county road. The driveway had been there for decades, long before Silver Pines paved their pristine entrance road beside it. Their residents drove past my land every day, but I stayed invisible. Or so I thought. The first police visit came on a Tuesday morning. I was drinking coffee on the porch when a cruiser rolled up, lights off, but presence loud. The officer stepped out politely, hand resting near his belt, and asked if I was the owner of the property. I said yes. He told me a resident from Silver Pines had reported unauthorized construction and environmental damage. I laughed, assuming it was a misunderstanding. I showed him my permits, my survey, and the county documentation. He apologized, said everything checked out, and left. That should have been the end. It wasn't. 2 days later, another cruiser arrived. Then another. Noise, complaints, zoning violations, claims that my dogs were aggressive, that I was running a business, that I was dumping waste. Every accusation was false. Every report traced back to the same woman, Karen Whitmore. She was the HOA board president of Silver Pines, and she took one look at my house beyond her gates and decided it shouldn't exist. The third visit came with 2 officers. They were clearly irritated, already aware of the pattern. One of them muttered, "It's her again," before even stepping onto my porch. I showed them the growing folder I had started keeping. Each report logged, each officer name written down, each body cam number politely requested. They told me off the record that Karen had been calling almost daily. By week 3, it became harassment. She'd stand at the edge of her neighborhood road, arms crossed, staring toward my property like I was an infection. Sometimes she'd take photos. Sometimes she'd scream that I was lowering property values. Once she yelled that I was trespassing on HOA land. I didn't respond. I just kept working. That made her angrier. The police stopped responding with urgency. Some stopped responding at all. But Karen didn't stop calling. She escalated. She told them I had weapons, that I was threatening her residence, that I was building illegal structures. that I was anti-community. The sheriff's office finally sent a supervisor. He sat with me on the porch, drank a glass of water, and sighed. He said, "Off the record, she's abusing the system. But unless she threatens violence, there's not much we can do." I asked him one question. "What about the road?" He raised an eyebrow. I showed him the county plat map. The HOA's private road ran directly across my property for about 60 feet. It had been paved illegally decades earlier by a developer who never secured an easement. The county had documented it, but never enforced it because no one complained. Until now. The sheriff went quiet. "You're saying they don't own that road section?" "No," I said calmly. "I do." He nodded slowly. "Then you have rights." I didn't act immediately. I hired a surveyor, then a civil engineer, then a property attorney. Every measurement confirmed it. The HOA's road encroached onto my land by nearly 12 feet at its widest point. Legally, they were trespassing. Every car that passed over it was trespassing. Every HOA member using it was benefiting from land they did not own. I sent one certified letter to the HOA board. It was polite, professional, factual. It informed them they had 30 days to negotiate an easement or reroute their road off my property. Otherwise, I would reclaim my land. Karen lost her mind. She showed up with a clipboard and 2 men in polos, screaming that I was bluffing, that I was nobody, that she'd bury me in lawsuits. I recorded everything. She screamed louder when I didn't respond. 30 days passed, then 40, then 60. They ignored me. So I moved forward. The morning it happened, I hired a licensed excavation company. All permits approved. County inspectors present. Survey flags planted bright orange along the legal boundary. Heavy equipment rolled in just after sunrise. Karen arrived, screaming. She stood in front of the bulldozer, arms wide, shouting that this was illegal, that she'd sue everyone, that she was calling the cops. The operator shut off the engine. The sheriff arrived 10 minutes later. He spoke to me first. "Everything in order?" he asked. I handed him the file. Deeds, surveys, permits, easement, denial, photos. He nodded once. Then he turned to Karen. "Ma'am, you need to move." She refused. He warned her again. She refused again. He told her she was trespassing. Her face went pale. She screamed that this was harassment, that I was a criminal, that I was destroying her community. The deputy gently took her by the arm and walked her off the construction site. The bulldozer started again. Concrete cracked. Asphalt split. Years of illegal entitlement crumbled into rubble. By noon, the road was gone. Silver Pines was cut in half. Emergency access rerouted. HOA traffic halted. The outrage was nuclear. I received threats, emails, letters from lawyers who hadn't read the facts. News vans showed up. Social media exploded. Karen went on local TV, crying about an evil neighbor destroying our way of life. Then the county released the documents. The narrative flipped overnight. The HOA had known for years. They'd ignored notices. They'd bet on intimidation instead of law. Karen resigned 2 days later. The board dissolved within a month. The HOA paid me a settlement to rebuild the road properly, this time with a legal easement and full compensation. I agreed. I wasn't cruel. I just wanted respect. The new road was narrower, slower, calmer, and it had a sign at the entrance. Private property. Respect boundaries. No one bothered me after that. The land finally felt like mine. Sometimes I sit on my porch at sunset, watching cars roll slowly across the strip of land that once caused so much chaos. I think about how close I came to backing down, to giving in just to avoid conflict. And then I remember Karen standing there, screaming, certain she could bully reality into submission. Turns out, concrete cracks, and so does arrogance.